Welcome to the Nothing Finer podcast. I'm your host, Rick Beach, along with Austin Allen. Austin, a little quarantined up. What you been up to, Bo?
Oh, nothing much, just trying to hang in there, trying to get back to the bright times and, enjoying some good quality binge watching while on quarantine and, kind of lounging around and getting to spend a little bit more time with the kiddos. So that's been good.
Yeah, I mean, it's been rough, like no softball. My daughter's playing softball, obviously, we talked about with Frank a couple weeks ago. But, I mean, it's, good to spend time doing stuff, just us at the house. So that's all good. Hey, Netflix was ahead of its time. Well, we couldn't be doing this with Blockbuster Video. So, the whole Netflix, everybody's binge watching everything. Even Kirby talked about, watching Tiger King, and then he was watching Ozark. So, I mean, it's a big thing. But how about hearing Kirby this week talking? Kind of got your mind off everything where we could get back on football. And hearing him talk X's and O's and hearing him talk that stuff, how cool is that for you just to say, okay, now we could, even for a 5-minute interview, we can think about football?
Yeah, it just gives us something to look forward to. And, it's always fun hearing anything Kirby's got to say. Definitely a relatable guy and a hometown guy. And so anytime you get to hear him kind of expound on the current situation and kind of, give you a little bit of hope and something to cling on to in these coming weeks,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's good. And, he talked about the lack of snaps, having a new quarterback coming in, whether it be Carson Beck or Jamie Newman, which we're all pretty sure is going to be Jamie Newman, but he can't say that as a head coach. And they're missing out on a lot of snaps for the team. And, throwing with guys right now is one thing, but throwing with your teammates is something else. So it does suck losing that. But if we could do what we got to do as Americans, knock this coronavirus thing, find a cure, get everything taken care of, they can get back. And, they're talking to SEC doing a mini camp style summer.
Yeah.
And, that would be huge.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Any kind of reps you can give back to these guys in early summer, as soon as you can. I mean, I know coaches and everybody's going to be pushing this, the second they can get out there, they want to be out there. So I know Kirby's going to be on the forefront of pushing that. I know, most of the NCAA will follow suit with that. I know these guys don't want to miss out on football. They don't want their kids who are on schollies to miss out on a year of eligibility. All these fans who pour so much money into the programs, they don't want these guys missing out. So, there's going to be a lot of outside pressure, coming from both ways. There's going to be people saying don't do it, which, there's always going to be the small minority who are, kind of feed into every kind of global situation or things on Twitter and things like that. But, there's going to be a lot of pressure coming from the NCAA towards the government and towards, everybody else and the lawmakers to say, hey, let's get this thing back going as soon as possible. And I know the NFL is going to be pushing pretty hard just like that as well.
Yeah, I mean, they got to. And, as much money as the NCAA would be losing out, they lost out on all the spring sports. Think about towns like Athens, Georgia. Think about these college towns, how much money they're losing out on missing football game days. I mean, you make up your money with them 6-7 Saturdays in the fall. And, that's why the Georgia-Florida game is such a big deal when they talk about moving it to one or the other. Okay, it's all, tradition and it's cool, and the recruiting aspect of it's so cool. The city of Athens, it means a lot to the city of Athens to have that extra home game every other year. And, when you talk about taking that away, you already took away baseball, gymnastics, softball. And, and baseball was number 4 in the country. So you're talking about you could have missed out on regionals and super regional games, which would have been packed out at Foley Field. So,
right.
The city of Athens, by football season, they're going to need this, especially the mom and pop places that are struggling right now.
Yeah.
The local restaurants, the Mayflower, some of them places really need football season.
Yeah, totally. And, it's a big deal, man. I think, and I kind of equate it to, when you throw a rock in a pond, the ripple starts out really small.
Yeah.
But years and years from now, the ripple of what this has done could turn into something larger, for the economy and stuff like that. So, it's kind of just one of the things you got to roll with and only hope for the best. So that's all we can do. And, football dang sure would make a lot of people feel better about everything that's going on.
Yeah, and right now, if people want football season, stay home, wash your hands.
Yeah.
You know, you got to go out. People
You got to do your part, you know.
And if you got to go out, you got to go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
You got to go. You know, I've tried to incorporate, you know, putting a rubber glove on pumping gas because there is a lot of people touching the gas pumps.
Yeah, after I pump gas, I don't have a rubber glove, but I just keep sanitizer.
Yeah,
as soon as I get done touching the pump, I sanitize my hands and keep it moving, you know.
Oh yeah, and you know, Governor said today it was pretty cool hearing him say it. You know, the way we're going to beat this war is to hunker down and chop a lot of wood.
Yeah, that was good.
And you know, it kind of fires you up in a way, as saying, okay, let's do our part. Let's get this over with. Let's win. Let's beat the virus. Let's, you know, whatever we got to do, the closer we get to the cure and then to a vaccine, the better.
Yeah, and that's where we're at. Just everybody just got to chip in and do their part, and you know, hopefully things get back to normal. And I think seeing Brian Kemp and Kirby and those guys, you know, talk about it today definitely did give me a little bit of peace moving forward.
Yeah, and you know, talking about Kirby, when he was talking about, he gave a interview that asked him about Tiger Kings.
Yeah.
And you know,
who asked him about that? Was he in the media room with Chuck, or did he do it over the phone
that
with
was,
Chuck or something?
No, I think it was Seth Emerson of
Oh,
the Atlantic.
okay.
And it's pretty cool that when you think about it, right now, if you would say last year at this time, beginning of April, there's no way Kirby's watching Netflix.
Yeah.
Especially the two shows he talked about being Tiger Kings.
There's no way Kirby's even home for more than like 4 hours a day.
Right. And, you know, that's pretty neat to hear, you know, Kirby open up that way of saying, you know, answer questions the honest way. Another interview that I really liked was our buddy Chuck.
Old Chuck.
Old Chuck Dow. He gave a great interview. Him and Kirby, their relationship is, you know, phenomenal. Especially,
Chuck's fun, man.
It's a different type of relationship than he has with some of the beat writers because Kirby's usually, you know, he's a little chippy with the beat writers from time to time. But old Chuck he can't be mean to Chuck. I mean, come on, it's Chuck Dow.
Well, Chuck can't be mean, man. He just gives everybody good vibes and lifts you up and, you know, and provides some of that UGA history that everybody loves so much.
Yeah, and something that Kirby mentioned that I hadn't even thought about was these players that they're not on campus, and some of these families that's been affected from the economy right now.
Yeah,
he said he's worried about the players that are they not eating. Does he have guys that aren't, you know, taking care of themselves because they're not able to?
Yeah, that's a big concern, and it's been a concern for me from the time I, you know, found out that campuses were going to be pretty much closed and kids were going to have to go back to their respective homesteads and things like that. And, you know, you see the videos of Zamir White riding horses and you know, all that kind of cool stuff. But it does, you know, it does concern you for some of these guys that they're having to go back to that kind of environment they came from where maybe they were, you know, they weren't getting the nourishment and nutrition that they need, especially to be the kind of war machines that they got to be to compete in the SEC week in and week out. You know, that takes a lot of calories. It takes a lot of special foods. It takes a lot of, you know, training with, you know, some equipment that they may not have access to at this time. You know?
They don't have access. I mean, a lot of them, you see them videos on Twitter, they're doing self-workouts.
Yeah.
And Georgia's got its own nutrition department, which every college does. You know, the football team has its own nutrition department.
Yeah.
And there's a reason. They're seeing, you know, is good in, good out. You put good stuff in, you get good product out. You put good food in, you get good product out. And for Georgia right now, you don't know what these guys are eating. You don't know what they're getting in and out, how much they're hydrating. And that does matter. Hydrating in April does matter come August.
Yeah, it does. And the other side of the coin for it to me is, are these guys keeping their heads on straight? Are these guys making sure they're not getting in trouble with the law? Are these guys making sure they are doing their online classes and, you know, doing all the procedural things that still need to be done, you know, whether or not you're on campus or not, to continue on, you know, this journey. So that part concerns me too, because you know how things get, man. When these college kids ain't at football practice every day, they tend to get into trouble a little bit more. You know, when it's the off season and they have more time to kill, just because, you know, you're still a kid and your decision making isn't fully formed yet, and you're, you know, hanging around and not, you know, following the rules, especially at a time like this during these shutdowns and things. You know, I think these guys definitely need to keep it on the up and up.
Yeah, and I mean, knock on wood, there hadn't been any news come out of anything going on, and hopefully we can continue that way.
Well, I think Kirby started a whole culture building thing. Like, I think everything we need to know about this UGA team coming up this season. If it happens, hope and pray to God that it does. But everything that we need to know about them was already said post Sugar Bowl by Kirby and George Pickens. They laid out the mentality that you got to have to be a part of this program moving forward. George with the chop wood forever, and Kirby with the I know that's my trademark. I love saying chop wood forever. And Kirby, talking about guys reading their press clippings and such, and just keeping that head on straight, and working and grinding every day. So
the team got it going on what you're talking to, leading up to the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah,
it was different. Sugar Bowl 2019 was a lot different. Sugar Bowl 2020, not the game, the lead in.
Right.
Having DeAndre Baker hanging out with the team when you knew he wasn't coming back. Having Justin Fields when he was going to transfer out. And then this year being, if you ain't going to play, if you don't want to play with us, don't come.
Yeah.
No hard feelings. Don't come.
Yeah.
And, having somebody like George Pickens be your mouthpiece as a true freshman.
Amazing.
It helps. Because everybody on the field looking up on that podium, that they want to be on that podium.
Well, and it wasn't always guaranteed to help, but Kirby trusted in this dude, and I couldn't believe how well put together George was when he was up there and he was speaking, and how clearly he spoke, and how solidified and unified his message was to his teammates. And that's that's senior leadership as a freshman. All the bad mouthing that's going on about the kid and everything he's been through, and he just kept it real right in front of everybody, and kept it team first, man. That's a huge deal to me.
And I'm going to go ahead and touch on something. The thing about George Pickens, now we know the Kirby rule. Assistant coaches and true freshmen can't talk to the media. So we hadn't heard nothing from George Pickens. When he spoke, I felt almost guilty because I was surprised by how well it was, but I shouldn't have been. But since I've heard nothing but Auburn fans, and I'll go directly to Auburn fans, bitter about him flipping, and all we've heard about is his education
grades,
and how he's not that intelligent, how he can't speak. He sounded a lot better than Nick Marshall ever sounded when he was at Auburn.
Yes.
And, he's
a fifth year senior, whatever he wasn't.
And, that is something where Twitter is the cesspool of all social media.
Man.
It's crap like that where this dude's been getting ripped up since last spring, and then to hear him talk on January 1.
And is one of the most respectable young men you could hear.
Look, we know he got some personal fouls on the field. Between the lines, everybody's a little different. That's sport.
That's just what makes a warrior, man. When you're willing to, look, football is legalized brawling, man. It's legalized war. It's a legalized street fight. However many different ways you can categorize it, it's all one thing. It's brutal, and George is a brutal, edgy, intense dude, and to back that up, he's got the qualities of a leader and put his head down and work kind of guy. So I think, George being the mouthpiece and the face of this team going forward this year is a huge deal for Kirby, and for Kirby to be able to spot it out at the end of last year and really give him a format to reach out to, kids who were watching that game, who are recruits, his teammates, the fan base. I think it's a real big deal. I think that's the kind of leadership, the vocal leadership you got to build. Now you can go back to 2017 and say we had leadership, but them guys weren't.
They were show me.
Yeah. They were all put your head down and just do as I do. George, he has the ability, or at least the potential, to be able to motivate and really unify a team.
And let's face it, the wide receiver room is going to have some youth to it this year.
Yes.
From Burton, Rosemary, Arian Smith, there's going to be some youth in that room. And having George Pickens, he's not only going to be a sophomore, but he has to grow up a lot.
Yeah.
And maybe getting beat up as much as he did by the fake video of him fighting, saying he was fighting a special needs person.
Right.
The people trashing
all
him.
the attempted sabotages on his career.
And he never came out with nothing.
Yeah.
And, to hear him come out in the Sugar Bowl, and, we never plan on talking about George Pickens like this.
Yeah.
But you know what? We'll put the kid over.
Absolutely, man.
He did his part.
It.
And, Kirby didn't have no problem handing him the mic and letting him rip it up there. And, the chop wood forever, you say it all the time.
Chop wood forever.
The 76.com, go get you the shirt.
That was the best thing he could have said.
It will be it's one of the biggest quotes. And you have that guy now as your mouthpiece on the team.
Yeah.
And that's what he can tell them at practice.
Yeah.
Is out hit. We're not going to be out hit, not going to be out hustled. That's not on the football field. Yeah. That's every day. And right now, you're away from your coaches. but you're not going to be out hit. You're not going to be out hustled. I'm
Right.
going to chop wood forever. I'm going to do what I got to do my part. So when I get back, hopefully they'll get back and have that mini camp in June or July, and then they'll get the ball rolling, and the season can start on time because people are going to be ready. We'll just come right out the door, and that can make Georgia where it needs to be. For players, and it's the leadership of the player. Maybe
it's about being like, all right, leadership is cool, but like I was saying, the people who was leading by example, like the Nick Chubb, the Sony Michels, the Roquans, they were show me guys, But to have a guy that can ride someone a little bit, kind of get on top of somebody, and really make sure that his teammates are on the same wavelength that he is, and I think that's a big deal.
And then face it.
I mean, sometimes being a good leader is working hard as you possibly can.
But the thing with Pickens, he's not just going to be your mouthpiece. He's also the best player you got on offense.
He's going to go out and go get it. So
I mean, at the end of the day, he's somebody that can back it up. He can say, let's go. He can go make the catches. He can go get, he played last year a lot on running plays as a true freshman. He can block. And it's not just that he has the great form. You have to have the mentality. You got to be nasty. You got to be able to throw your nose out there and want to block. And he does that. Does he block a little bit after the whistle? Yeah, he does. Because he's just got that mentality of a warrior, and that's what you want.
Right.
And you don't get that out of 18-year-old wide receivers. They're the most prima donna position in the game.
They get their head blown up in high school to where they can't even hold it up off their neck because, they just get that ego filled up, man. So to see what George is and the maturity level he had, it was amazing. And I'm not saying Roquan Smith and Nick Chubb and Sony Michel weren't excellent athletes and hard-nosed football players, but they were just different types. You could say now that Roquan has developed more into a leader-type guy with the Bears through this point in his career. But it's just that part of going through college, you're socially in a place where you don't know if you're at that point where you can speak out about something. So all you do is just put your head down and work as hard as you possibly can, which there's nothing wrong with that. But when you have a guy like George who knows what he can do and knows that he has the ability to do these things with the things he says, also that becomes a whole another level.
And it was, I'm going to go ahead and I get into things on Twitter, especially. You see things, and I rarely comment and get into Twitter wars with fan bases, especially. But I read what they say. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Auburn's a fan base you really don't hear much from.
No, they kind of play it cool till late summer. They want to have an idea. They think of how things are going to be.
And of course, you see them bickering with Bama fans, and that's understandable. And
that's 24/7, 365.
Yeah, but really for Georgia fans, always Florida.
Yeah,
you see the Florida fans. But I was going to touch on something I did kind of get in a little spat with these Tennessee fans. For a Tennessee fan to just tell Georgia fans all they say is 1980.
Yeah.
Let's talk about 1998 and what Tennessee's done since 1998, which is absolutely nothing. They've won the East twice. They had a shot to go to a national championship and got beat by LSU, who was coached by Nick Saban.
Mm-hmm.
And, that wasn't a highly ranked LSU team. That wasn't a top 5 team that knocked them out.
Yeah.
But Tennessee has done absolutely nothing in the last 28 years. But they want to ride Georgia fans for 1980.
Yeah.
When, I can look at since 1980, and I'm pretty proud of what Georgia's done.
Yeah.
I'm pretty proud of what Georgia's done the last 3 years when we're competing for national championships every year, and Tennessee's done nothing. I mean, they lost to Georgia State last year, and then they want to act like 1980 hurts our feelings. And it don't 1980 don't hurt Georgia fans' feelings at all.
Don't.
And the more
we wear 1980 shirts,
right? And the more people say that, the more numb. I mean, it's okay. We get it.
Take
but
the power
what have
away.
you done lately? What has Florida done lately? What has Florida picked to win the East? Yeah. There's a lot of media people picking Florida to win the East. How they can make that just blows. Florida's offensive line.
Yeah.
Does anybody know any 5 people on their offensive line? I got a real good friend of mine, Mark McLeod, has a Gators Blitz podcast. Works at the radio station in Jacksonville. I've been on the show a couple times. Great dude. I just don't buy the hype with Florida. I don't. Yeah. I understand Kyle Trask had a good year last year. Who's he got around him? Jefferson's gone. Yeah. So I mean, it's that fan base is riding on what they could be. Tennessee's riding on what they were 28 years ago, and Georgia fans, like Kirby said, we talk with our helmets.
Yeah.
And as a Georgia fan, you're like, okay, well, we beat you last year. We beat you the year before. We smoked you here and there. We've won the East 3 years in a row.
Right.
And I don't see why it wouldn't be 4 years this year.
Well, this is the thing. Dan Mullen's offense is only going to be as good as the guys he's got in there to run it. And as long as he's not pushing his way up the recruiting rankings, which he's not, and hasn't improved at all since he got to Gainesville, I think it's going to be the same outcome, just like it was in Mississippi State. I mean, this guy, he can get as good a roster as he can get, and that's what he can work with. But it's just not good enough. It's just not deep enough.
No,
there's not enough rotation. Like 1 through 22 might be pretty good, but 22 through 85, could be steps below the rest of the conference. And I mean, as far as Bama, LSU, Auburn, and A&M.
Right, because you look at Georgia, what we were, 17 national championship, the 2018 game, obviously.
Yeah.
When we wasn't there 1 through, from 22 through 55, wasn't on par for with Alabama. 1 through 22, we could match them.
Yeah.
But you can't even do that with Florida. You can't. You go hard 22 against their 22, we're better.
Better.
So we're especially better 23 through 85.
Leaps and bounds better.
And it blows
leaps
my mind.
Bounds better.
Bama, Auburn is pretty good. 1
Auburn's
through 22,
good.
they can match up with us.
Yeah.
And that's cool. That's understandable. And I can get that from an Auburn fan.
And they're deep at certain positions, just not enough to.
Now, Auburn's defense this year.
Yeah.
Now, we'll do opponent breakdown shows and all that good stuff.
We'll get it.
But, when you just, at a glance, I guess you could say, looking at Auburn's defense, they don't have nothing glaring at. They got some good DBs, but they don't have anything where you look at saying them are 2 first-round draft pick defense. They don't have that like they had this year with Coe and Brown and all that on Marlon Davidson.
Right.
So, I mean, really and truly, when you look at teams this year, Georgia's got the best defense in the SEC.
Yeah, in the country.
And we really got, the potential to have a really good offense.
Yeah.
Because we have the talent. We had the talent last year, and it blows my mind Swift didn't have a touchdown for, the last 7 games?
Yeah, he didn't have a touchdown since Kentucky.
And, it just blows my mind that would
happen.
happen.
Did he get one in the Sugar Bowl? No, he didn't.
No, he only had 2.
Yeah, he only had 2 touches, yeah.
Yeah, and one of them he threw back on the flea flick.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's pretty cool. But before we get out of here, I know you're a big Falcons fan. I'm not. Why don't you talk about? I'll let you do the talking.
Why are you always throwing shade with you?
And I'm gonna let you do the talking for Todd Gurley coming in there, and I'm not gonna mention the arthritis in his knee.
If you just did, you still did it though. My God.
So what's it mean? I mean, what's it mean for the Falcons to get Todd Gurley?
It's a big deal, Rick. I've told you so many times how angry it made me and how bitter I've been since the Falcons did not draft Todd Gurley, as I was screaming that they should at the top of my lungs since the Georgia-Auburn game 2014. I said, man, this man better go to the Falcons, better go to the Falcons, better go to the Falcons. We picked Vic Beasley, wastes 5 years of everybody's lives with him. He's just loafs around worse than a Jordan player getting beat around by Carver or something, just walking around. So we finally boot him. We boot Freeman. When we boot Freeman, I knew it was about to go down. I knew it was about to happen. I already knew because we had heard the rumors about Todd, and I was like, Todd's coming home. Todd's coming home. And I was like, I don't care what he does as long as, he don't go to the Saints or something. I'm going to be so happy. So we lock him up. Does it make up for the last 5 years of him not being here? No. Because maybe we don't get his best years now. But people forget. Kid's only 25 years old.
Right. And, he can play through the arthritis. And I tease you because it's just fun to do. But,
he can get treated for that and work through it.
And, I'd love to see Todd Gurley do good. And I'd love to see the stadium be packed.
Stadium's going to be packed.
It's so aggravating last year seeing half full stadium at kickoff. You're not going to see that with Todd Gurley on the field. And especially not going to see it if they find a way. Maybe they can bring in a J.R. Reed. Maybe they bring in DeAndre Swift even.
Yeah, they could still pick him up, and because they're going to need depth now.
You're going to you can't. Gurley's not a workhorse type back right now.
Yeah, they're going to need some kind of scat dude, and DeAndre would be great for that, catching out the backfield and such. So I could still look to them doing something like that mid-second round. I could still see that.
No,
because they only signed Gurley for a year, so they still got to think towards the future regardless.
And let's talk about another signing in the NFC South, but all the football. Yeah. Tom Brady coming down to the Buccaneers.
Yeah,
which I think is a great move.
Great move.
I think it's going to be really fun to watch. The biggest thing going to be watching the Patriots record and the Bucs, and to see Belichick without Brady without Belichick.
Hey man, Brady's about to rip it up
because Brady has a quarterback guru as his head coach. He goes to Bruce Arians, which lives in the state of Georgia, lives on the lake by Kirby. But Bruce Arians, Peyton Manning, you see some work he did, Ben Roethlisberger, he's a quarterback whisperer, and now he's got somebody as smart as Tom. Does Tom Brady have the physical ability or the arm as a Peyton Manning did?
Tom Brady can make every throw on the football field. I'm not trying to hear
every
none
throw
of
he's
that.
got to make, he can make it.
Yeah.
And no, he can't scramble around. He ain't gonna have to.
Yeah.
Buccaneers were a good team last year with a quarterback that had 30 interceptions.
He wrote us on 30 for 30.
I mean, it's insane to think about how good the Buccaneers could be.
Dude, let me look. I'm gonna tell you like this, okay? Last year, Tom Brady was throwing passes to a Publix bag boy and a Checkers drive-through worker. Okay, now he's about to be throwing to Mike Evans. So, I mean,
Chris Godwin. I mean,
yeah.
it's not just
See me in December when Tom
OJ
Brady's,
Howard. He got OJ Howard at tight end. I mean,
when
it's
Tom Brady's winning the division and the Falcons limping to the wild card.
But think about this division now. When you got even Teddy Bridgewater going to Carolina, Breeze, Brady, and Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
You got Julio Jones, Mike Evans. Michael
NFC
Thomas.
South might be the best division in football.
It's got its own Pro Bowl. You could take the best players in that and go up against the entire NFL.
Yeah.
And be fine. You look at the wide receivers with Evans, Thomas, and Julio.
Yeah.
I mean, in Carolina.
Watch now that we talk the South up though, they'll go like 1-3 versus the AFC East.
The winner of the
somebody looks to the Dolphins.
The 8-8 team wins the division. All because we talked about it.
We talked them up.
That's how it usually goes. Well, man, we're about to get out of here. That's all the time we got this week.
Yeah,
look, make sure you stay at home and wash your hands. Look, go to Twitter at NothingFinerPod. Give us a following. Get on YouTube if you're listening on iTunes or on the website. Just type in Nothing Finer Pod on YouTube. Hit that subscribe. You know, right now we don't have the video going.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of problems, especially with what's going on. But we got great partnership with National Audio Visual. We got some really cool stuff going on with them. We're getting things back rolling. Alex is helping us out tremendously. It's really fun to see what's going on. So hit that subscribe. When we get the video back going, you'll get the notification. You'll see us going on there. Hey, leave a comment on, something on Netflix you'll want to watch. We're going on a statewide shutdown for a week.
Yeah.
There's things that need to be going on. That's all I want to say. Like I said, stay at home, wash your hands. Austin, you got anything?
Chop wood forever. Todd Gurley's coming home, baby. Keep your head up, Falcons fans. One more thing, Rick. I told you. We always get down on people who wear jerseys, grown men who wear jerseys.
Yes. Hey,
I'm buying a Todd Gurley jersey, look, Rick, and you ain't stopping me.
I'm going to say it. NFL fans, it's all right. But something about a grown man wearing a kid's jersey is just not cool with me. Now, if you do it, whatever. That's your thing.
Everybody
it's not for me. It's not for me. I'm not wearing,
I can't wear no Sean Marino jersey.
Yeah. Now, when he got to the pros, I don't wear pro jerseys, but I can see it. That's a grown man wearing another grown man jersey. But a grown man wearing a kid's jersey, that's a little different. That's all we got this week. God bless. Go Dogs. Wash your hands.
TG3, baby.